like fucking Colonel Sanders roasted. And that's in addition to the sunburn I had in the normal places, face and neck and so shoulders and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And I was just fucking miserable. And then they're like, we're going to like on a tour of some flower garden and you're coming. I thought, well, why? And it was just fucking miserable. And I thought, why do adults think that there are these like mandatory fun events? It's like, you will have fun or else.
Yeah, or yeah, we'll like it's like we'll regret it if we don't expose you to Hawaii somehow.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? I'm fucking in pain and grouchy and miserable. I don't want to ride. I don't want to walk around. I just want to read a fucking book. And they're like, you can't go to Hawaii and read a book. I'm like, fucking watch me, assholes.
Well, actually, I can just read this book about Hawaii, and I don't have to get burned by Hawaii.
You can read that book at home. You're like, I sure can. I can read it.
Yeah,
here too.
why aren't we there?
Yeah.
Right now, cunt. Yeah, I mean, the family vacation is something like we did. My family did really badly because we were poor. So it was like we didn't do Hawaii. No fucking chance would we do Hawaii unless like my mom won a sweepstakes or something. But like we'd go to like, Tennessee for vacation, which is the next state. In case you're not geographically intelligent.
Yeah, I know.
It's the next, I mean the audience.
Oh, okay.
It's the next state up. Right? So it's like,
I'm very geographically inclined. I've watched both of the Animaniacs geography-oriented musical videos.
Yeah, me too.
Nations
I don't
of the
remember
World.
any of them. Yeah.
You know, for one of those, DPR MSF charities, they had one of the guests try to sing Yakko's Nations of the World, and he fucked it up.
Yeah, I mean,
what?
I mean, that's pretty tough one though, like to get on your first try.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, I don't know if it was his first try. He thought that he had rehearsed enough, and then he just fucked it all up. I used to know that song. I don't know if I can still do it.
Like, I can hear the rhythm in my head, but there's no way I'd ever have the lyrics, like, immediately, you know what I mean? It was so long ago when I saw that shit. And I saw that shit legitimately on TV when I was a kid.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Oh, I had it memorized at one point.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I could because I can memorize music. But, yeah, I never bothered with it, but it was really awesome. But I did have Animaniacs as my senior quote in my high school. Yeah. If you can't beat them, arrange to have them beaten.
That was such a great show.
Yeah, it was really fucking good. And it was on our network. It was on with all these other bullshit shows that sucked.
Oh, yeah.
And they were just awful, but then Animaniacs came on and all was right. Like, you were like, this is badass. Like, I really want to watch this.
Yeah. So many cartoons now, like, the characters, they talk too much and don't say anything. They're just not funny. They're not good.
They're not good. Like, what are the good cartoons right now?
I think Adventure Time is the only good one.
Yeah, that is.
Because the people who do that show just drop acid before they sit down and...
Fuck yeah, they do. Hell yeah. Like, and I know that, but when my son was into Adventure Time, I was like, this is awesome. And he couldn't figure out why I liked it so much. He was like, what's this? What's going on here? I was like, oh, it's a great show. He's like, I know, but why do you like it? I was like, don't worry about it, bitch. We're just watching Adventure Time. But yeah, it's really good show. And I don't know. What else? Is there anything else I liked? When he was really young, he was into the Power Rangers, which
Jesus Christ!
I really wanted to drown myself in a hot deep fryer.
I knew people who were in high school who watched Power Rangers, and I thought, come on, dude.
You did?
Yeah.
Really?
Really.
Fucking hell, dude!
It's like they kept trying to play it off like they were enjoying it, ironically, but then they clearly weren't.
That's not a show you can do that with.
It really isn't.
Okay, there's nothing in there that you can even make fun of. It's just bad. It's just fucking solidly terrible.
They weren't even like geeky hipster kids who were like, oh, look how bad this is. Oh, it's great. No, they just were.
They're just like super fat, smelly kids who wore. Oh shit. Yeah, there was the Power Rangers. I was weirded out by the fact that he was into the Power Rangers because when I was about 13 or 12, somewhere in there, they were popular, and the kids, the younger kids, were into them, right? So, like, you know, here we go. Like several years later, I have a kid who's 8, and he's 7, 6 probably, but he's super into the Power Rangers. I'm like, still, really? Okay, well maybe it's changed. Maybe the show has changed over the last 15 years. Let's see what it's doing. And there's like some 20-something-year-old dudes and like one girl or a couple, and they go to high school still. They go to high school for like 9 years. And like there's these 2 bullies who are super overweight. Like the bullies in that show were the guys that would have got their ass kicked at my high school. But because there's the one really overweight guy and the skinny dude with the mullet who's got like 4 teeth. And like nobody likes them, but somehow they're in charge. And nobody notices the weird fight out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
With what looks like the football team's mascot, but is actually a fucking extraterrestrial monster. And like, you know, I was like, oh, so the plot hasn't changed. Got it. It's just different 20-something-year-old people, pushing 30, by the way, playing teenagers.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Which was a thing in the 90s. There was no such thing as teenagers playing teenagers. They were all like my age or younger.
Yeah.
And they were playing fucking high school kids. And it was so weird. Because like you'd see like a dude that was supposed to be a sophomore. He was like sleeved up with tattoos. And he had like a fucking beer belly and a scar on his neck. And he had some like teardrop tattoos under his eye. You know, he'd been in the pen for like at least 8 years. And he's on Power Rangers as part of his fucking community service. It's just terrible shit.
I'd pick up dog shit in the park myself. I don't
know. Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah, I thought... I was talking to someone the other day, and I said... And like, in the same rant, I used the expression bullshit and batshit, like, in succession. And I just stopped and I said, like, I was in the middle of something completely unrelated, and I said, isn't it fascinating that the English language is the only language that I'm aware of that assigns different allegorical meaning to different animal feces?
Yeah.
Like, how and why did bullshit become to mean that, you know, there was a lack of sincerity or
right,
a lack of valid proof? Right? And yet batshit shows a lack of reasoning skills or mental health.
Right.
And the person I was talking to just looked at me like, what?
Well, I mean, that's interesting because that's officially the first fucking time I've ever stopped to think about that.
Yeah,
but it's very fucking true.
I can just imagine someone reading a book on English slang and saying, okay, you're going to have to walk me through this again. You know?
What's more interesting is I've used both of those terms many times and never had that thought. That's more interesting to me than the thought itself. Is that's never occurred to me. Like, why is that not occurred to me?
Also, horseshit is a bit different because when people say horseshit, there's a different connotation. It's like
horseshit deals with lesser issues.
I see. I would think. I use horseshit. It's like if someone is just telling a bald-faced lie, whereas bullshit is more like, yeah, I think that you haven't thought it through, or there isn't sufficient proof. Whereas
now that
horseshit means you know you're wrong and you're still talking. You're still
see.
saying
You think horseshit puts like an emphasis on
yes
bullshit. For me, horseshit is like. We're all standing around like the open hood of a truck. 4 out of 5 guys have no idea what we're looking at. The one guy that knows what he's talking about says, yeah, you know, I put in some of this and blah, blah, blah. And the one other redneck goes, that's horse shit. You got to do that. Right? It's more casual. To me, bullshit is where the more extreme example.
Well,
and what's interesting about that is it has to do with the context in which we've both experienced those terms individually. That's how we define them.
I always thought of bullshit as a question mark and horseshit as an exclamation mark. You know what I mean? It's like, that seems like bullshit, but no, that definitely is horseshit. You're just talking pure horseshit. You know you're wrong. You know?
And well, what's interesting to me is like bulls seem more powerful and destructive. So when I think bullshit, I think more destructive nonsense.
Oh, and then of course there's chicken
Horse
shit.
shit is more casual. Yeah, chicken shit is just, you know, you're a pussy. Right?
Yeah.
And now, of course, we're in trouble because I've just compared 50% of the planet's vaginas to the fecal matter of a chicken. Fuck me, I'm in big trouble now. But,
yeah. No wonder it's no wonder there aren't more women scientists and I don't know, animal. I mean, they call it animal husbandry. It's never you're never a wife to an animal. You're only the husband to it. It's always animal husbandry.
Yeah.
So that's 4 different kinds of shit that each give different subtle poetic connotations.
And again, I love the fact that any woman who was convicted enough to become like a specialist in her field and study her ass off and do the work required to, you know, do certain things would not even know what we were talking about right now. She'd be so busy and interested in more important shit. She would have no fucking clue what these people were talking about.
Yeah.
And she might even be insulted by people trying to talk for her, especially these morons. She'd be like, well, this person's obviously my intellectual inferior. Why are they speaking about me again? What is the issue? Someone wore a shirt? Woohoo? Right, you know, I just feel like they would just feel so fucking... It would feel so benign to them, to a woman who was that successful and into her own shit. Like, I can't imagine she would ever give a fuck.
You should have heard some of the stupid, self-righteous shit these tech writers were saying. They were saying, yeah, although it's great that we're making advances in space, it seems like we're not making any progress here on Earth.
Oh, that's clever. My son couldn't have come up with that one. Come on, you fucking idiot.
Which is back in the fucking Middle Ages.
Did you actually read that somewhere?
Yes! That's a direct fucking quote.
Oh, that's fucking sad. Oh, that's fucking so sad. Somebody wrote that and thought it was clever. Yeah. A college-educated human being wrote that and thought it was interesting and clever.
Yeah, it reminds me of that sketch about Kinko's employees on the Chappelle Show. It's like, you graduated grade school and you don't have to take shit from anyone. Now he needs to change that to, you have an associate's in communications and you don't have to take shit from anybody.
You have a liberal arts degree. Yeah. Fuck the world. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah, all that stuff was either very close paraphrasing or exact quotes about the 50% of the planet being oppressed by it and shit like that.
That part I believe instantly. I mean, that just sounds typical. I mean, that's the kind of over-exaggerated bullshit that's, you know, it's a constant. But the shit you just said...
Yeah.
It seems like we're making plenty of it, but here on Earth... Are you fucking insane?
You know, these are the same fucking people who will say, yeah, this is just like North Korea. Oh, I got to park...
Right, exactly, yeah. I can't even park in this area of fucking dictatorship over here.
Yeah, I remember there was this one crazy musician guy I knew. He walked in to where we were and he said, the Bush regime is like worse than this or that, and it's like, and I said, what happened? He's like, well, you know, and you know, I'm like, just the facts, sir, you know, like a detective or some shit. And then he's like, well, it's just, you know, all our rights are being taken away and this is turning into a police state. And I said, what actually happened? He said, well, this fucking cop pulled me over, gave me a ticket. I said, why? No reason. I said, okay.
Is that what the ticket says? It says no reason. He circled that. It's one of the options on the citation.
What is the
no reason?
What is the police radio code for no fucking reason?
Just
Yeah,
a
we
zero.
got a 1065. I'm just fucking with some guy.
Yeah. And that's the thing I like to do is like anytime somebody gives me their version of the story and they're indignant, I like to ask if I were to ask them what happened, what would they say? Like because then that forces them to sort of give me the other side of the story. Right. Well, well, they said, well, she said, well, they, yeah. And then I go, oh, okay. So you were speeding? Well, I might have been going a little fast. Yeah, that's called speeding, dumbass.
Okay,
Not going to,
so the interrogation continues at some length, and finally we arrive at the matter. He was driving the wrong way on a one-way street. And when they pulled him over and he asked him, did you know that you were driving the wrong way on a one-way street? He said, yeah, I knew. and then proceeded to make the legal argument of what's the big deal. Completely owning up to the cop that he knew, you know, full. And it wasn't that case where like you make a right turn onto the, you know, the going the wrong way and then immediately turn into a parking lot. He drove for like a block and a half. And he knew, and then he's like, well, there's no reason, they're just, oh man, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You are a menace. You are a menace. He should have taken,
Dude.
I mean, he was easy on you.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, you can imagine the cop just dumbfounded saying, so you knew?
dude, the last time.
Okay.
The last time I got pulled over, I got a speeding ticket, which I was speeding like a motherfucker. Like up the freeway. Like I was on the highway. It wasn't like I was in a residential area or anything. But I was doing like 76 and a 55 or some shit like that. So I'm obviously speeding. But the problem was that there was a cop already over on the left shoulder of the freeway pulling someone over. He had just finished up. The truck, and there was a large truck in front of me that obstructed my view of the cop on the shoulder. So I sped past the cop at about 76. And I go, oh, I'm getting pulled over now. And so I started to slow down. With the, you know, sort of the simultaneous, I'm about to get pulled over. Hopefully you won't pull me over if I slow down kind of thing. Which, here come the lights, so I just went ahead and pulled over. He gets out, and he goes, do you know why I pulled you over? I said, yep. He goes, oh. I was like, yeah, I was speeding. and he goes, yeah. He goes, you were doing about, and this is exactly what he said. He goes, you were going about 76, and then when I got behind you, you were going like, you slowed it down, or I can't remember how he termed it, but he described the behavior of my vehicle, which was, you started out at about 76, and then by the time you saw me, that's what he had said.
Yeah.
You slowed down to 72, and that's when I lit you up. And when he said that to me, I went, cool. And he goes, what? And like, I go, oh, no, I just go, I thought it was kind of cool that you could read shit like that. I was like, because that's exactly what happened. Like, I saw you, and then I hit my brakes and like went down a little bit. And I was like, how'd you do that? I thought you could only read a speed or something. He's like, no, we can get it fluctuates. So I was like, that's neat. I didn't know you did that now. He's like, yeah, just wait right here. Like, he was shocked that I wasn't arguing with him.
Yeah.
What the thing was. And I was like, I'm not going to fucking argue with you at this point. Like, I literally almost knocked the fucking rear view off your passenger side door. Fucking doing 76 miles an hour past your. No, I was speeding. Like, just give me the fucking ticket.
He's like that guy selling the gourd. He's like, you have to haggle. Except that this time the haggling process makes absolutely no difference ever.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's the one thing. Like, the sooner you oh shit.
Oh, but anyway, that reminds me. Have you seen this kid that was imprisoned in North Korea?
No.
Oh, dude, it was great. He was one of those. He was one of those people who honestly thought that North Korea wasn't that bad, and he tried to claim asylum in North Korea from the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't end well. All right.
It didn't?
Yeah. Turns out, North Korea, not such a nice place.
Yeah.
Yeah, he found that out the hard. I mean, because they immediately just arrested him